Mic was muted. Okay, let's start over again. Hello and welcome to the RV Living Show. This is Luann Street, and I am with Design Your RV Life, formerly Where the Streets Wander, if you followed me before. Today's topic is all about important reasons not to full-time. So as a former full-timer, and probably will be a full-timer again in the future, I kind of wanted to talk about and tease apart some of the reasons why people either shouldn't or think they can't full-time RV. So as we get started today, let me know if you're watching with me live, if you let me know in the comments where you're watching from and whether you're a full-timer or not. I would love to know that. Also, let me know if you're thinking about full-timing. As we dive into this topic tonight, we can explore all of the little things that people have that think are obstacles to full-timing, and they may or may not be for some people. So if you're watching me on YouTube, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. It tells the algorithm that you like my video and that it'll show it to other people who can like it too. So that would be awesome. If you're on Facebook, give me a thumbs up, send me some love, some hearts. That would be great. We want to get this fun content out to everybody and important content out to everybody as they start to embark on their thoughts of full-timing. You know, there's a lot to consider and a lot of things to think about and decide on and all those wonderful things. So let's go ahead and get started on the important reasons not to full-time. It's interesting that the moment that this went out as a topic, I instantly got an email, or maybe it was a comment, and I loved it because they were like, no, there is no reason not to full-time. They were all in, and they were getting ready to go, and the excitement was there, and it was just a really great message to get and hear. But, you know, there are reasons why maybe you shouldn't full-time now or even at all. So let's dive into those today. So the first thing that a lot of people think about when they're thinking about full-time RVing is they think that they can't manage living in a small space. And for some people, that might be true. And what I have to tell you from personal experience is that the whole thing, I'm going to move my microphone because I forgot to put it in front of me. Maybe this will make it sound a little better. The whole idea of the small space makes you think you're giving up things, right? Makes you think that you're getting rid of stuff that maybe you don't want to get rid of, and it evokes these feelings of fear and doubt and holding on to things that maybe will keep you from having a different life. And while everyone has to go through this and make their own decision for themselves, you know, thinking that you can't live in a small space, I want you to know that in my full-time life, we downsized. Well, I've now downsized 3 times. So originally our very first RV was 36 foot. We were just free timers, you know, doing the weekend and vacation thing. And then when we decided to go full time, we really felt like we needed a bigger rig. And we went in with a 43 footer so that we could have everything that we needed to have while we were on the road. Well, it soon got to be that, you know, we downsized into a 36 footer because it's amazing what you can really learn to live without. And I mean, and learn, that's probably not a really good word to use, because pretty soon you realize that whole cabinet of stuff that you put up there that you thought you needed, like my 27 Sharpies, never got used. The black ones, maybe. I maybe used the black ones, but the other colors, I never used those Sharpies. But because I had spent money on them, I brought them into the RV because you never know when you're going to need a Sharpie. So anyway, just, you know, thinking about that, that is a big obstacle to some people. And if you think you can't live in a small space, you're probably right. So what I encourage you to do is try it out. Like, get in the space, because I am a visual person. I really have to make that that visual inspection and feel myself in the space in order to feel whether or not I can actually adapt to it and what I could actually put there and there and there. And, now that I've downsized even farther into 25 foot, and no, I'm not full time yet, but I plan on going back on the road full time in a year or two. And I am already thinking about the cabinets of where the things are going to go and how much I really don't need to have and which shoes I'm going to take with me. So anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about is, maybe you feel like you're giving up your stuff. And if you feel like you have so much stuff that you can't give it up, I challenge you to think about this from the perspective of that you're not giving it up, you're trading it. In fact, I have a downsizing course called Trading Stuff for Memories that helps you really think about the things that you actually need and don't need if you're going to live in an RV. But don't feel like you're giving it up, because maybe the things that you think you need to have are actually kind of holding you hostage from actually going and doing something fun. But if you have so many hobbies and things that you don't feel like you can give your stuff up, that's a reason that maybe you shouldn't full-time RV. So the next one, and this one's big, because I felt this way, and I have people that I know personally who full-time who still struggle with this, but there's ways around this. So this whole episode is really about, the things that you may be thinking in your head about full-timing, and then maybe how you can look at the obstacle and overcome it if you choose or desire to do so, right? If the thing is that your dream has to be big enough to full-time. So if these things that I'm talking about today, if you're thinking that these are all valid reasons for you, then you can't full-time, because those are reasons, and they're good, and they're personal, and they're important to you. But I want to talk about this third one, and it's can't leave your family and friends. And this is a huge one. And there's a lot of people who experience this. I experienced this. The process that I went through to go full-time, leave my grandchildren behind, thinking about missing out on all those, baseball games, softball games, the girls play softball, the piano recitals, the violin concerts, the Boy Scout presentations, all the things that come along with being near your grandchildren. I had to weigh my desire to full-time over what I was, how I was going to be involved in my children's and grandchildren's lives. And if you feel like this is a complete stumbling block for you, that you just cannot leave them, then that's a reason for you not to full-time. But I can tell you that it can be overcome. And the thing is that, you're on the road. You can go wherever you want to. You just have to be intentional about using your time and your travel in order to go where you want to go. And that includes going back home and seeing those grandbabies. So there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes along with that. You can't leave your friends and family. But we talked a little bit about creative ideas in one of the other episodes that I did. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Creative ideas for, staying connected. And it's all about being intentional. Okay, this last one's a big one. And I think that this is something that, and I get emails a lot about, especially from wives. Well, no, I think it's been pretty equal. Your travel partner's not on the same page. You want to travel, you think going full-time is an awesome idea, and your travel partner does not. They think that it's terrible. They probably have in their heads all the things that I just talked about. They don't think they can live in a small space. They don't think they can give up their stuff. They can't leave their friends and family. They like their home. They worked too hard to get it to where it is, to leave it behind. And, let's stop and talk about that for just a second. Just because you're going full-time doesn't mean you have to give up your sticks and bricks house. There are ways that you can get around that. Now that I've come off the road and I'm not going to full-time for a year or two, I have a home now. I have no intention of selling this home. We sold the first home, and that was something that we chose to do together. And this home I will keep. And I'm thinking about putting it out as an Airbnb. I live in a pretty great area that I probably could get some revenue for that while I was gone. So, there are ways you can rent it out. You can keep it. You don't have to give up your home. So let's go back to the travel partner isn't on the same page. I will say that traveling full time can be stressful. It can strain your relationship being in the small space with somebody all the time. So if your partner is unhappy and doesn't want to do this, you talking them into it is probably not a good idea. Because you just don't want to be miserable. You don't want the I told you so's. You don't want that that feeling of having to pull them along to have fun, that everything is an effort and they don't get into the lifestyle and they don't really enjoy sitting outside, doing the fire, seeing all the cool stuff. They are more homebodies. Well, I can tell you that you can be a homebody in your RV. So that's also something to consider. But if your travel partner isn't on the same page, instead of nagging them along, you could always rent an RV and put them in it and go somewhere amazing and see if it changes their mind. And the thing is that when we start to make these changes in our lives and we start to think about full-timing, you really need to get in that mindset of, can I do this? How can I do this? Right? Not, oh, I can't do this. Oh, that's too small. I won't have this, and I don't have my family with me. So the possibility thinking is when it really comes into play. So, but again, if your travel partner is not on the same page, I think you're setting yourself up for failure, and you probably should not full time. Now, does that mean you can't part-time extensively? No. Maybe that's the compromise. Maybe that is where you compromise. The partner who doesn't want to travel very much gets to pick some destinations that you agree with, and vice versa, and make it a team effort. But then you come back home for the different seasons of things in your lives, whether it's maybe you're getting out of the cold and you want to go to Arizona and Florida because you live up north. And so that's how you get away and that's how you travel, versus, staying more locally, only going within a certain time period, or even just full timing for 1 year. Sometimes that whole thing about going all in completely and 100%, that is your home and that's the only thing you have, can be a setback for some people. But I'm here to tell you that I absolutely loved my full-time RV lifestyle. I never dreamed it would end. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you guys who want a full-time. I'm here for you guys who don't want a full-time. Because you know what? What I've discovered, even more so since I came off the road, is that there are so many different ways that you can RV. I'm getting ready to do my first solo 3-week trip coming up in May. And it's just amazing to think that I'm going to be able to do this again and get out there and have the fun that I used to have and make new friends and make different relationships with, and maybe instead of so many couples, find some solo women to hook up with and, have and share that experience. So anyway, so those are the important reasons to not full-time. If you don't think that you can, if these are obstacles that you are thinking in your head, then you probably shouldn't do it unless you can overcome it. And I would love to help you overcome them. If you want to jump in the comments, send me an email. However, that encouragement can go a long way. And I love to do that for people. So let's jump into the comments and see who's here with me live. Rose says, hi, everyone from snowy Freeville, New York. We are to get 6 to 12 inches. And you thought it was spring. I did too. Oh my gosh, Rose, I can't believe it. But I'm in a sweater tonight. It's been rainy and cold here in Tennessee. So, and Kathy says, hi, Luann, chilly evening here in North Carolina. Ruth, but no snow. Yes, thank God, no snow. Don't wait to try to full-time. Go now and you may discover what rig you really might need for further full timing. That is definitely true. Definitely true. Don't get bogged down in what size your rig is. That's awesome. Nancy says hi from Central Illinois. Hi, Nancy. Ruth says giving up stuff isn't a problem. It's giving up the church and community commitments. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard to do that because you've built that life and that community with those people, and that could be a good reason to not full-time, Ruth. It could be. Oh, okay. Ruth asking Kathy where she lives, so that's great. Kim Kaplinger says we're Kaplinger, sorry, Kim. Sorry, I did that. We are visiting home now and spending time with those precious grandbabies and family members. Been away since Christmas. So I'm filling my cup now to get me through until the next planned visit in late summer, early fall. That's right. And you know what? It makes those visits even more like impactful. Like you just really make the most of it. You appreciate it. You are more intentional about the time that you're spending with them because you know that you're leaving again. So it can work both ways. I mean, when I lived next to my daughter and grandkids, yeah, we saw each other all the time, but it wasn't intentional. We just happened to, hang out or see in passing or drop something off. But when we came back after a full-time adventure, we were like, oh, we want to see you. Let's go do this. Let's hang out here. Let's do that. So those are definitely ways that you can look at leaving your friends and family. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of the RV Living Show. I really thank you for joining me tonight. Please keep commenting. If you're watching this in the replay, let me know that you watched it. #replay. That really warms my heart because then I know that this content's living on and that you guys are seeing, enjoying it. And also, if you have something you want to hear about, if you want me to talk about something specific, let me know. I am open to that. And I would love to dive into stuff that you guys really want to know. Now, next week on the RV Living Show, we have Chad and Kim Kaplinger. They are Vice President and Secretary of Campers for Christ Ministry. And this is an international ministry that puts believers together and has rallies and meetups throughout the United States. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're wanting to build more community into your RV life, join me next week on the RV Living Show, where we find out what Campers for Christ is all about and how you can get involved. All right, guys. Well, you have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week right here, same time, same place, Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the RV Living Show. You guys take care.